Okay, so welcome to P&T Tea Talks. I'm Eduardo from Paper and Tea, and I hope you're having a nice Saturday today. We are going to keep going through some basics of tea, as we've been doing for the last 3 days. We are going to have a very classical tea. Let me introduce to you our Muse. So Muse is our Darjeeling second flash. So we are going to have a black tea again. Yesterday we have Assam from India. Today we're having Darjeeling also from India. So Darjeeling, it's known as one of the finest black teas there are. Okay, and what makes Darjeeling so special? That's what we're about to find out today. So first of all, Darjeeling, it's one of those teas that is named after the place where it comes from. Darjeeling is a region, is a town. You can actually visit the town of Darjeeling. It's beautiful, beautiful. I totally recommend that. I would say it's one of the most beautiful parts of India. Besides, it's very calm, very chill. Regardless of the tea plantations, that makes it pretty good. Also, it's not like the big noisy Indian city, so it's a very very relaxing, chill place. And Darjeeling is located in West Bengal state, so it's also in the northeastern part of India. So if you have a map, it's right close to the border with China. It's actually just a couple 100 kilometers away from Assam Valley, so it's very close. It's that same region. And Darjeeling actually borders Nepal. You can actually, from Darjeeling, you can see Nepal. And what's so special about the area is that it's not just Nepal. Darjeeling is located right by the foothills of the Himalayas. So the highest mountain range in the world. You can actually see the Kanchenjunga, which is the third highest mountain, and it's just beautiful with like snow cover. If it's not too cloudy and you're lucky and you get a sunny day, you can have an amazing view of the mountains from Darjeeling. So Darjeeling was established around the mid 19th century. Okay, so it was the British started the tea production there. They used to use the area of Darjeeling as a leisure place. They would usually go during the summer. Let's think of Indian summer. It's not like British summer, so it was very hot, very humid. They needed a place to escape, and the best place was just going up to the mountains. So that's why Darjeeling became so famous for them. Eventually, they started introducing tea there, and it worked out pretty well. Darjeeling right now, it's we would say one of the best teas from India. About 10% of Indian production, let's remember India is the second biggest tea producing country in the world. About 10% of what they produce is actually Darjeeling. So Darjeeling is also very special as a region because it's the first Indian region and one of the first tea producing regions in the world that established a denomination of origin. Okay, so there are laws that protect the production, the manufacturing of the tea, in a way assuring the quality of what you're buying. So it's kind of similar what happens in the wine industry with France or Italy, Spain, that we have regions like Champagne, for example, that Champagne can only be produced in Champagne with following certain rules, or same thing that happens with some cheese. For example, in Italy they have Parmigiano. There is also like a certain rules they have to follow. So for tea is the same. Actually, the Darjeeling area, it's limited. It's only 87 states that are allowed to produce Darjeeling and are allowed to label it as Darjeeling. So, and what's so special about this place? Among many things, one of the key things I want you to know today is how altitude can influence the flavor of teas and how altitude makes tea better. I have to point out that altitude is not the only factor that enhances the quality of tea, but it's a very important one. So usually the higher your tea plantation, the better your tea, so to say. Okay, as I'm saying, it's not the only thing, but it helps a lot. It helps get really, really, really nice teas. Okay, so Darjeeling, the average altitude in Darjeeling is about 1,200 meters above sea level. There are some areas a little lower, there are some areas a little higher, but that's kind of like, so it's about 1,000 meters. We usually in the world of tea, we think that's pretty good, okay, to produce high quality tea. So Darjeeling has mostly focused on the production of black teas, but for a long time, let's remember it was developed during the British colonial times, and what the British people wanted to drink was black tea, so they were producing black teas. But Darjeeling style, but nowadays they are producing also green teas, really nice white teas, some oolongs as well. So, but Darjeeling style of tea, it's very special. I'll start brewing it because otherwise I'll just going on top. I'll go on talking. Let me start brewing the tea, and I'll tell you what's so special about Darjeeling flavor profile. Okay, so I'll brew these also like Western kind of style. So I'm using 4 grams, 250 milliliters. Usually, the more delicate the tea, the lower the temperature we want to use. So, for example, yesterday, for those who watched the session of yesterday, we were brewing Assam, and Assam we brewed with around 95 Celsius degrees. And for this Darjeeling, I'm going for, I'm gonna set the timer here. And for this Darjeeling, I'm going for 80 degrees. So we are lowering the temperature a little bit because Darjeelings, it's exactly that. It's a more delicate tea. It's a delicate version of a black tea. It's actually known as the champagne of tea. What a poetic name. So Darjeelings are famous for being, as a black tea, being very delicate, not having that extreme full body. It's like a medium body. It's not so astringent. And what makes Darjeelings very special is how aromatic they are and how complex they are. And that's given by the altitude. When I say I want you today to know what altitude does, the higher the tea plantation, the first thing that happens is that the plant works a little slower, okay? So the leaves take longer to be created, to be produced, okay? So since the leaves take a little longer to be produced, they have more time to make them more complex. This is an easy way of putting it. So it takes longer for the leaves to come out, and these translate into a more complex leaf. So also the chemical compounds that the plant develops at that altitude are not necessarily the same that what is produced in a valley, what it's producing in flat, because the plant has different requirements. So the chemical composition, it differs a little bit as well, and that gives us teas that are light in body, but very rich in aroma. So whatever they lose in body, they gain aromatically, okay? So actually, for example, if we compare Darjeelings to the Assam I prepared yesterday, we can see the differences in terms of volume and astringency and how much more aromatic are Darjeelings, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. Let me show you the leaves. Here we have a black tea. I'll use this side. So here we have a black tea, but actually the leaves, if we pay close attention, we can also find a little bit of golden that we mentioned yesterday, where the buds, when the buds oxidize, they turn golden. So it's a little bit of the golden. We can see a little bit like dark brown, not just completely black. Darjeeling is usually not necessarily entirely black. So and well, as I said, this is also a second flush Darjeeling. Okay, so and the color of the infusion, it's, as you can see, it's very bright, clear, but it's not the intense. I'll put it closer. It's not the intense. Usually black teas, they are not black, they are red, so it's not the intense reddish coppery color of a regular Ceylon or an Assam. It's kind of like actually more orangey. It's like an orange color. Even the color is lighter, and that actually transfers to the body. Okay, so when we try this tea, we can feel there is a slightly astringency, there is a light astringency, it has some body. I mean, it's still a black tea. I'm not talking about it doesn't have body at all. It actually has it. There is a slightly astringency. And then Darjeelings have this complexity in aromas. They are usually very fruity. They tend to be a little woody, a little spicy, flowery. One of the key descriptors, because usually every tea has like one aroma that you're like, oh, this tea is this. We usually relate Darjeelings to a muscatel note that can be easily found in a lot of the Darjeelings. A muscatel, it's basically grapes, so like this white, sweet grape. Okay, if you like wine, you probably had some muscato. So it's like a variety of, so it has like this sweet fruit, but it's not like fresh fruit. It's even sometimes it's like kind of, we can feel a little bit like warm, like jam or like apricot, like citrusy. It's like yellow fruit, that kind of fruitiness. But as I said, also a lot of complexity. We can find some. We also usually find some nutty notes, especially in this second flash. Okay, so in Darjeeling, we there are different flashes, there are different type of harvest, and each harvest will have their own identity. I don't want to give much more information about the harvest because I really wanted you to know today about the altitude and how the altitude is important. So at higher altitude, the leaves grow slower, giving more time for the plant to be complex and giving this. If the leaves are complex, eventually the cap will be complex because it's more compounds that we will transform into aromas, into flavors, into sensations in our mouth. So that's what's so amazing about Darjeeling. We will be in future sessions be trying other Darjeelings, other flashes, and I think that will be the perfect time to talk more about it. But it's always heard like first flash, which happens right in spring. Second flash, which also tends to be like a little bit more warmer, more nutty, more fruity. It's actually probably one of the most popular Darjeelings that we usually when we try Darjeeling, whatever we find like more accessible, usually it's a second flash. Okay, so I'm gonna go give you some time to ask some questions. So let's see, because I have here, will you do some matcha one day? Of course, we will do them all. I mean, we have over around 60 different teas, so it will take me a couple of months to go through all of them. So let's see how the quarantine goes. But yeah, for sure, matcha is on the list. The idea is to each session give you a little knowledge about tea, so build up your tea knowledge based on one tea, one day at a time. Okay, one tea at a time. So Greta was actually drinking our first season of spring from Paper and Tea. Oh my God, we have somebody from Sri Lanka. That's so nice. Well, this is an Indian tea, but for sure we'll be trying our Kipling's Cup, which is our Ceylon, another classical black tea. Somebody here says they visited us a few years ago, and in our beautiful store. Yeah, our stores are very, very pretty. If you are ever in Berlin, you have to stop by, and you're tea lovers, you have to stop by at one of our stores. And hello to Canada as well, Edmonton. We got people from everywhere. That's very, very, very nice. Okay, so I don't know if you have any question beside the greetings. If you have any questions regarding Darjeelings, if you want to leave a comment about it, if you actually enjoy drinking them. This is actually it's a pretty good tea for people who are not into teas that are too intense. So if you are the kind of person that prepares black tea, but just let it steep very quick, like very short time, and then you take it away because you don't like your black tea too strong or too intense, maybe what you need to do is to start drinking Darjeeling, because Darjeeling is that it has like this light body, it's not extremely astringent, so it's a very good option for somebody that doesn't want a very strong tea. If you're looking for a very strong tea, then don't go for Darjeeling, because sometimes people start drinking Darjeeling and they just over-infuse it, they over-steep it, just to make it stronger when they should be drinking probably Assam, what we had yesterday. So if there are no questions, well, this video remains for 24 hours. We're working on putting our videos live in Instagram TV. It's taking a little longer because we need to edit them a little bit. They are a bit too long because I think that's why now I'm trying to make them a bit shorter. Do you recommend the seminar? Well, I'll be doing the seminar, so of course I recommend it. We're doing this online seminar. Thank you for reminding me, Pau. We're doing this online seminar. It's going April 4th. So April 4th, you can still buy it in our website. It's a 2-hour seminar. It will be online. We will do it through Zoom, and we will send to you 3 teas. That will be the teas that we will be drinking, so you can prepare them while we are at the seminar. And yeah, of course, if you are enjoying I've seen you a couple of times. So if you're enjoying these tea talks, and you think they are too short, and you would like to hear more about tea, a seminar would be a great choice. If you want to sign up for the seminar, if you are outside of Germany, then you only got today and tomorrow to make your mind. And if you are within Germany, you got until Wednesday. So we can send out the teas for all of you, so you can have them. It will happen next Saturday, okay? So, well, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you tomorrow with something new, okay? Have a good day. If you have any questions, you can just send us a DM, like a direct message, and we will answer whatever question you have, okay? Have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye.